Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
All right, everybody, welcome to Div Tech 101, aka Black Mantle, as I discuss information technology, also known as IT. And in today's video, we're going to get into a little bit more of one of my favorite topics, which is going to be in the area of Tech Unfiltered, where I'm basically discussing information technology and just having an open discussion. So this is definitely something new here on Saturday morning. If you are actually tuned in live on this video, this is going to be a very interesting discussion that we're going to have on the channel. So if you're definitely in here, definitely put your comments and everything up, so I can definitely keep a tab on them, look at them, try to answer the questions as we're going through the topic. But I'm going to say something early, and I want to say it early. I want to be very clear about this. I don't think we're ready for AI. Okay, we're going to get into that discussion today, not just as individuals, but as a society as a whole. And what I want to look at is we're using it a lot. Okay, we're using AI a lot in every aspect of our life, whether we are using Chat GPT, where we're using Gemini, where we're using Copilot, where we're using all these different types of AI platforms that we have. It has grown to a point to where now it is not only impacted us as a society, but it's also impacted the job market that we're currently in right now. And so when we look at this, I want to look at this from a lens of just a societal standpoint where we can see how this could possibly impact the future. Like, we understand technically how it could go, but in terms of how people's jobs are changing, how the market is changing, how people's lives are changing, the things that we have going on within this space is changing so much that we are now in a whole other different era of our life than we have never been in before. And why is this so interesting? And while we're talking about this, go ahead and get you some coffee or some tea or something, whatever it is that you drink. I love to have my coffee here, and especially coffee, just really good, or tea, having an open discussion anyway. So definitely have some, enjoy a cup, donate to the channel, buy me a cup of coffee, however you see fit. Okay, so we'll definitely get that. But we really don't understand what is happening behind the scenes in terms of this whole technological movement. Now, keep in mind, for example, and the things that I'm showing you on screen, I'm not endorsed by any of these companies, so I'm not going to mention names per se. So if I do mention something, not being endorsed by it. But remember how we, for example, we look at how people had their homes back then. They didn't have cameras on their home. They basically just had wired alarm systems that were on their home. But then, like, now, you get into like stand up battery style cameras now that people can pretty much put up and around their house, right? So you know what this one is. This one is a Ring camera, and I'm just having it just as a demo here, just so you can kind of get the gist of the different props that I have here on the channel. But now we have surveillance on our homes, which we can see them remotely from our mobile phones. But what does that have to say about the data and the information behind the scenes that we don't see, that we don't control, that we don't have any part of? That is what the scary part of this is, because where people, when they started getting cameras, they had the NVRs or the DVRs within their home, the digital video recorders or network video recorders in their home. They can view, of course, the footage locally right there on the spot. It's not shared with anyone other than shared on the actual hard drive that is there within the residence of their home. You fast forward and you spin this up, we are now at a point where we have these type of devices that are basically, we have given our rights up to have the information shared up in the cloud. So they're being hosted on different websites that have the cloud-based servers for these. Whether you have Blink, whether you have Ring, whether you have Vivid, or wherever the data is stored in their cloud. And what you have to understand of what cloud is, all a cloud is, and I'm not talking about the physical aspect of the cloud outside that the planes fly through when you're in an airplane. But when you think about the term cloud in the IT space, what that just means is simply there is a computer in a remote location that you don't know where it is that your information is stored on. So your information is stored on a cloud computer somewhere, and you don't control the security around that. You don't control the data, how the data is stored, whether the data could be erased or not. You don't know. That is the age we live in now. Now it's more about getting the data into the cloud itself. And if the data isn't the cloud, that keeps the general population streaming. And if you stream things to your device, meaning watching Netflix from your phone screen, you no longer have DVDs, you no longer have VCR, you no longer have any of these physical devices. You no longer have these. That means that the data can be altered at any point. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do something here for you. And definitely post your questions if you have them. But I'm going to bring out a couple of DVDs here, okay? And these are a lot of you could probably relate to some of these. If not, that's perfectly fine. But for example, I have all of these here, okay? These right here are all DVDs. So at any point in time, weekend, Christmas break, I can go and watch any of these that I want. And this is just an open discussion, people. So definitely post your questions. I'm looking at the chat. We definitely, can most of them definitely talk about it. So, but you'll get it. We're just having just an open discussion here. I can go back and watch any of these. I can go back and watch Fresh Prince. I can turn around. I can go back and watch all the seasons of Martin that I want. I can go back and watch Different World if I want. I can go back and watch Sanford and Son. I can even go back and watch The Godfather if I want to. And I like the DVDs because I can control where I stop it. Of course, how far I want to walk, how far I want to watch into. I can pick whatever season that I want to watch, and I don't have to. I've already paid for these, so they cannot alter the data on these. But what the data can be altered on is at any point, and here's just my thought. Haven't proven this theory yet, but here's just my thought. If there is an actor or actress in that particular movie that gets into trouble, my theory is the companies can go back and remove that actor or that portion of that film from the live streaming or the streaming part to where you can still watch the show. They'll just remove parts of that actor out of there, as opposed to getting the DVD and everything is right there. That's the thought process that I'm in right now when it comes to technology, the behind the scenes stuff. And all of this is basically stored. It's no longer being want you to store it on your shelf. Nobody wants you to store anything on your shelf anymore. Now it's, can you store it, how to get it stored in the cloud so that you pay a subscription to company A in order for you to watch that particular video. So you're paying for the streaming, you're paying for somebody else to house your information and your stuff when you can just buy it outright and be done with it. And even though I'm in the technological space, I'm talking about this because I want, like, I understand the technology piece, but I understand the direction that this is heading in. AI is changing everything. Like, people can literally go back and make AI videos like this. I just saw one last night of an AI video created from it was talking about the Tulsa massacre and the Greenwood and stuff like that. There was a recreation of an AI footage with that and a modern actor in it. And it was very, very, very interesting. That's the way that movies and DVDs and stuff like that is being created now. And we definitely have to be curious of where our information is stored because that has changed the whole dynamics of where we are right now. So, one of the first things that we definitely have to look at is AI replacing people. Okay. AI replacing people. People think AI is an optional thing. AI is not. AI is here to stay. It is going to continuously be embedded within our culture. It's going to continuously be embedded within our workforce. It is going to continuously eliminate repetitive jobs. AI fused with continuous technology deployment, content delivery, it's going to be a continuous thing. It's when you have AI paired with automation, that means that you remove a specific section of labor force. So when you're looking at different pieces of information, I went to actually a site where it has different technological layoffs. And with technological layoffs, right now there are about 39,400 plus tech employees that are laid off from 66 tech companies as of 2026. And this has been tracked since COVID, since 2020. But if you go back to even in 2022, there was like even 2 years after COVID, you had about 165,200 plus people laid off from over 1,000 tech companies in 2022. Then within a year later, you had about 264,300 plus people laid off from about a little over 1,100 jobs, which then as we climb further into the years of 2024, that then went to about 152,900 plus tech jobs that people were laid off of from a spread of over 550 plus companies just in 2024 alone. Now, when you look at 2025 compared to data for 2026, but in 2025, you had 124,000 plus employees that were laid off from tech companies of over 271 companies. So the more people getting laid off, but it was less and less companies as it was decreasing down. And when you look at even 2026, even being at the time of this video, just a little over 3.5 months in, you have over 39,400 plus tech employees that were laid off from out of 66 companies here. And when you look at the data itself back in 2022, where it was a 165,000 plus, you had companies, which ones I've never heard of, like Stone, which was out in, which is a finance a company. Here you had Dig, you had Atlassian, which does Trello, I believe. And then that still didn't pique a lot of the big top tech companies that we are super familiar with. And even getting into those um, big Fortune 500 companies, like the ones that we're so used to seeing, when you're looking at them as far as in 2026, Amazon, of course, FedEx, all these different companies had different layoffs that happened. These are just focused on the tech companies themselves and the different areas that are within that. And so we can definitely see the trend of how that's moving within there. But when we're looking at these, the people learning it are gaining leverage. And so let's break that down for a second. The people that are learning AI when they're gaining leverage about it, it's the people who are making the AI movies. and then showing them to the public, of course, are getting monetized for being the first, the pioneers in leading in that particular niche. So now people are hungry for that information. The people who are laggards, who don't get in on it to the end, of course, are not able to get into that market because the people are looking at it saying, you know what? AI is not going anywhere. It is here to stay. How can I leverage it to get a benefit out of it? And they're getting the benefit of being able to create content, to create movies, to create things that you like to view online using AI. So that's a good thing. They're leveraging it at that particular point. And the people learning it, they're going to continuously going to be ahead of the rest of the curve. And the people who are ignoring AI is most definitely at a risk itself. And these are things that we have to understand how we're moving within this space. Now, when we get down to the nitty gritty of different tech topics like this, we got to understand that the entry level jobs in the tech space, they're disappearing. So whether you're going into fast food, maybe you're going to work at a local fast food joint, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, whatever, what you have there is you have automation already. For example, with Yum Brands, Yum Brands has already infused um, AI into the drive-through order for the mobile order. Next time you go to order something at one of the fast food restaurants, like McDonald's will be a good one. Taco Bell will be another. Well, Taco Bell is part of Yum Brands. McDonald's is its own separate, then a whole nother entity. But Taco Bell specifically, go to the drive-through, try and order something, and then just listen to the voice. That voice is different than the person that's actually taking your order because they ask you, "Do you have a mobile order?" So now the push is to get everybody to have a mobile order. So therefore, they'll be able to move and leverage that automation through it. So by the time you get to the window, you've already paid for it through the app because everybody wants you to order through the app to pre-order. Less people in the kitchen, less kiosk in the actual restaurant to take your order. You don't believe me? Go to a McDonald's in a small town or a big community, and you will see more kiosks there for you to order by, and probably 1 to 2 registers at the most. And for a technological person like myself, that is a good thing because there's more things that we can actually fix from a technological perspective, being in the IT space. But the issue is that people who are in the labor force and who are in the fast food industry lose jobs. There's no people to interact with, and you don't need to sit down in a restaurant to eat. That's not what it's going to be designed for. Then you pair that with the automation of robotics being in this space. So you have artificial intelligence, you have the order taking process, you have the voice, you have the robotics that are there that are flipping the burgers. Because that's where it started. I started seeing this years ago. Robotics is not anything new to me. Been seeing this for well over a decade plus. Robotics definitely good in a warehouse. Logistics definitely going to be hitting that first. But then you have the robotics in the kitchen. So then you got full scale robots, like you've seen those Tesla robots and General Dynamics with making their robotic dog. You have these kind of things showing up, and people are loving it. What about the auto delivery of the food from a Grubhub, the little red car? The goal is to get people to stay put, order online, stick to your phone, stream, subscribe. This is like a technological paradise to somebody like me who's in this space. So whether you work desktop support or you're in cybersecurity, this could impact your job too. We are not in a safe space. But the automation is replacing repetitive tasks because they don't have to worry about people not showing up for work. They don't have to take PTO or sick time. They don't have to take bereavement leave. They don't have to take their kids to school. Automation, replacing these repetitive tasks, better for the business. That's just the way that it's going to work. So businesses are choosing efficiency over loyalty because they don't like the fatals. The fatals being employees messing up orders, employees not showing up to work. These are the real things that is happening, people. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. You have over, you have well over, when you're looking from a technological company space, and I'm just going to just pull this information because I just want you all to see when I'm sitting here actively looking at this right now. You have over 4,325 plus companies now. Okay, you have over 4,325 technological companies, some of them in Series D, some of them are in both in the seed stage. These companies have raised millions of dollars. Some of these companies have laid off a lot of employees. Even looking at the ones that laid off the most employees, at least over 2,200 or 22,000 will be Intel, which you all are familiar with, which is a hardware company. 20% of its workforce laid off. So this is real. And what's happening is these businesses now are seeing that they move too fast with AI and firing, laying off, separating, however you want to call it. They're firing these employees and realizing, oops, we made a mistake. And then they have to hire people back. So now people, if you're interested and really love what you do, find a way to leverage AI in what you are passionate about so that you can move a different way. That'll be the best advice that I can give to you because AI, as I said, don't call in sick and it's definitely not asking for a raise, but it's going to most definitely scale instantly. But the question that I have for you all is, do you think AI will help you or do you think AI will replace you? Definitely let me know in the comments. If you're live with me right now, definitely put the information there because I really want you all to really understand that and see it in a different light now. Let me know what you all think about this because this is a very, very interesting topic that we definitely have to talk about and get into. I think this is the first Saturday stream like this. I think this would be a really good thing to gauge you all's opinion because this is bigger than just subscribers. This is bigger than just likes. This is bigger than just the whole YouTube thing. This is a discussion that we definitely need to try to wrap our head around to understand. Because even I'm noticing the changes, even just being out in the general public, nobody wants to talk to each other anymore. We are having to leverage AI in every space. Imagine a landscaper who is bought thousands of dollars in equipment, has built reputations in working with customers, and to only find out that you got robotic lawnmowers out here that can cut grass, that you can be sitting at home and have a truck or a drone drop off your lawnmower to somebody's yard and just start cutting. Let that sink in for a second. Just the basic stuff. This is just the basics. AI is replacing the basic stuff right now. Imagine what it's going to be like when it starts hitting the much more of the mainstream stuff. I mean, heck, you already have a machine in Germany that can build a house that they just feed the concrete material into and it draws the house like a 3D printer. If you have a 3D printer that can print stuff, imagine what it's like when somebody can sit behind a control remotely in a home and just control the whole operation. Now, here's what people is not talking about. And I want us to really understand with all this AI that is taking place, where is this information housed? It's housed in what we know as a data center. AI, number one, does not exist and cannot exist without infrastructure. infrastructure is most definitely behind it. That means that more of these data centers have to be built to house this massive collection of information that is out here. And all this AI talk runs in data centers. And if you take a look at this whole data center piece, there is one thing that I definitely want to put up here on the screen because I want you all to see it, but definitely check out this data center infrastructure in the United States map. And this was in November of 2025. We most definitely should see at least a piece of that. And I'm going to see if I can pull a piece of this here on the screen because I think that it's very important that we see this. But let's take a look at this here. Looking at this data center map from back in the 90s to now, this is hitting so different. So just imagine being in a space station looking down in the United States at night and you see a very close amount of lights on the eastern side and it's very spread out in the west. More and more data centers, of course, are being built. And when you look at the massive capacity in the megawatts, millions of watts that are being used, the giant white circles that you see is where a lot of power is being drawn to those particular data centers there. And the white circles is where the planned data centers are going to be sitting. The red ones is where the construction of new data centers. So at the time of watching this particular video, with me being in Arkansas, of course, if you look at the map there, Arkansas is going to have a data center in Little Rock, and they're also going to have one in West Memphis, Arkansas. Google did a video on that. Google, I believe, is going to have about a $10 billion data center in West Memphis. And I did a video on that specifically. Little Rock is definitely going to be getting one as well. So those are under construction. And then the yellow is what is operating right now. And when you're looking at the lines, the voltage class, the KV, is the red lines are greater than 735 kVs there. White lines are the fiber optic line routes. So if you're looking at those, the white lines represent the fiber optic. And then when you look at the orange lines, they're about 500 kV, and the orange is about 345. And then your kind of light orange is going to be anywhere between 220 to 287 kVs there. But the data sources that they base all this off of is the data center information has to deal with the transmission networks. You have Hitachi Energy, Velocity Suite, fiber optic lines most definitely are acquired from an international telecommunication union from a generalized global cover data set. And you have a lot of things running through the Midwest, of course. But this map, what this does is this whole map, people, it illustrates a geospatial relationship between data center location and transmission infrastructure, such as like the fiber optic networks in the major metropolitan areas. And the data sets that you're seeing here, and this is definitely listed on the sheet, on this map, are not produced by NREL, but NREL claims to not be responsible for the accuracy and completeness of this whole data set here, but it is was altered by NREL for the U.S. Department of Energy here, and so you can definitely see much more with that. What I was looking for on the map itself is this thing here. When you're looking at the actual maps, itself, what you definitely don't want to do is you definitely want to look at for cities that have the specific or don't have data centers listed in those specific states. That is where a big problem is going to happen because a lot of these towns, they don't want the data centers even remotely near where they are supposed to be. That's what they want. Data centers in these specific locations in these cities. Now, when we're looking at the data centers, you have to ask yourself, would you want one built near your home? Many of the people in the community, of course, are going to say no. Because I did a story, a short video once, and what happens is people who live off the grid, who are in these open farmland areas, who are from this not in within the city limits, they moved out to the country for a reason because they did not want anyone building anything near them. And so that right there is most definitely going to be a very, very big problem with people here. And so as you're looking at this map, you can make the determination for yourself and see. Most definitely. Now, what I will say when we're looking at the data centers is this. These things, of course, are very loud. People don't want them near them. I always beg to ask the question, why wouldn't these data centers be put way out in the boondocks where nobody lives instead of them being placed within city limits near communities? That's not right. While I am for technology and why I love technology, what I don't agree with is these data centers being placed near people's homes or placed in rural areas near where farmland is, impacting the environment around them. That is what I do not agree with wholeheartedly. Why wouldn't they just go off way deep in some farmland that they've had and don't plan to put any residential areas or residential homes that go to those areas and put data centers there? But people always go after the CEO of the company. But what they don't do is they never go after the landowner who sold the CEO's shielded company for that land. There's a reason behind that. And that is where you have to connect the dots because so now think about it. AI is replacing jobs and data centers are expanding to support that. And they're expanding across the US. Look at the sheet here. Look at it. Data centers are expanding across the US. And you can see all of this right here. It is here. It is absolutely here. And we have a big problem on our hands. We have a very, very big problem on our hands. People are claiming to get sick. People don't want to have to deal with these loud data centers near them. And I get it. I understand it. I understand it wholeheartedly. This is where we're at, people. This is going to be a problem for these little communities that are out here that really is trying to make a decent living, trying to work, not have to deal with the loud noise in the city. Now they have to deal with the loud noise of the data centers being around them. I can tell you this. This whole thing is definitely not random. It is not random at all. This is strategic. And this is a shift. This is a shift. And so the people who are paying attention right now, they are specifically positioning themselves and everybody else is reacting very late. And so I definitely want to make sure to open up the floor if anyone's watching. If not, definitely want to open up the floor for the discussion here. And let me see, what's going on um, around like what area that you live in, what your thoughts are. Our data centers being positioned to probably be in your community. Definitely let me know in the comments if you're late on the video and don't get a chance to hit the live stream up here. But this is definitely something that we need to take a look at, people. I believe that we definitely need to see what is going on, because this is going to be a different thing. But at the end of the day, AI isn't something to fear, and I don't want you all to fear it, but it is something that you definitely need to understand and figure out how can you leverage this to work in your best benefit. And so once again, people, if you're catching this live or on replay, drop your thoughts. And the question I still am faced with is, are we ready for AI, or are we already behind? Like, listen, subscribe. DivTech 101, aka Black Mental, Tech Unfiltered here. Look forward to bringing more technology conversations like this to you all soon.